Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? Why is this microphone so close to my face? It's Mike Leopard, King Mike L. This is, why am I screaming? It's Legit Paranormal, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. It is May 7th, 2023. For those of you that were familiar with the band State of Corruption and their first CD, Backroom Sauce, the man who is cooking the sauce has a birthday today. Happy birthday to Legit Podcast's own Uncle Robert. I'm the only one out of 9 of us who knows who I'm talking about. Well, maybe Brother Ray. Hopefully, Brother Ray. We got what? 5, 7. I'll do it quick. 2 and 2, 3. That's easy. It's easy. 2 plus 3 is 5 plus. No, I can't do it. I'm out. Joining me as always, Buddy Money. There, buddy. I could not do the math at all. I was like, I'm done.
Totally blanked out, Mike. I was sitting here as we were in the pre-show, and I was wondering what the hell it is I was looking at in the background here. And then when you cut us all out, when I was like, "Oh my God, it's an SOC show." Is that at the Met, Mike?
So I don't know. Here's what I did. Right, I told you I was building. I don't know if you were there. I was building the So I have Bar Fangul, but now around it, I'm building the King Mike L. Appreciation Center is what I'm calling it, and I'm just putting myself all over the walls, right, from the different years, and I look ridiculous.
Like watching yourself age.
Oh God, there's a good wall that I can't even look at. I look at it, and I go, that is ridiculously awful. Like, look at that.
I believe it. Well, in this one here, I was playing. It was like Where's Waldo in the 2 minutes before the show. I wasn't able to find my own face, but I saw my friend Jay's face. So that was.
Yeah, you're probably in a bunch of these, to be honest. Yeah, there's like a ton. You know, they're all courtesy of. All these photos were taken courtesy of Lisa Gurley, who was like not the best local photographer as far as like catching all the weird shots, like crazy shots constantly at shows.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good at it. I'm sorry, talking about that again. Buddy, what's your beer?
Speaking of being really good at things, so there's this little brewery down in Exeter, Rhode Island. It's actually quite large. It's grown quite the large production facility nowadays. It's called Tilted Barn Brewery. They're in Exeter, Rhode Island. They're right down there by the Veteran Cemetery. If anyone from Rhode Island is familiar with it, this is their new beer, Littlefield. Littlefield is a single IPA and was created for people like you, Mike, people who cannot stand IPAs, cannot stand the ultra sweetness or the ultra bitterness of an IPA, and they prefer a beer flavored beer. This is probably the most subtle and beer flavored beer IPA that I've ever had. Littlefield, it's 6.3 alcohol percent by volume. It's got some citron in it, which is known to be sweet, but they settle it right down with some nice white wheat and oat from oats. Not oak, and it's quite delicious, Mike.
Buddy, you speak about that beer like I feel like when I look at a Harlequin, the cover of it, like an old Fabio picture. Like, you're just so too much. It's like I can't believe you love it that much. Like
I love it that much, Mike.
It's just too much. Hey, so I made her wait because she was a little bit late. Joining us, Sin Schrader Hill. How are we, Sin?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. You ran a little bit late, so I made you wait till I'm rhyming. I just keep doing it.
I totally understand.
Made you wait till after Buddy's beer of the week. That's the rules. Those are the rules, buddy. That's how it goes. So, Sin, how you been? What's been new?
Been waiting on this since last Sunday.
All right, we're ready to rock then. Yep. Buddy, would you like to do the introductions of the guests that you tried to get info from before the show and I stopped you? Go ahead.
I already knew her info, Mike.
Yeah, all right,
joining us from the lovely Chicago region of the country, I believe.
Yes.
She is a paranormal investigator. She has been on TV. She volunteers at historical places like myself also. What else does she do? Oh, she's a nurse, which I'm not. Mm-hmm. So please welcome to the show, Kara Philp. Welcome, Kara.
Thank you.
Kara, how are you?
I'm good.
Is there anything I left out, Kara? Because I didn't.
Podcast. Did we talk about my podcast too?
Oh,
I don't remember. Late Night Legends. I'll talk about it later.
You know, I was gonna Sin. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was gonna say I was gonna help you with that, but then you cheated technically, Kara, because after the first thing Buddy said, she went, "Yes." Like Oh my God! The fix is
I'm
in.
here to help. I'm here to support.
Crazy.
I mean, he was like, fix is in. They already brought. I'm not buying. Sin, go ahead. I'm sorry. Your introduction.
No, I thought you were asking me a question. I was all up for it. I was ready
That's
for
what
it.
I thought. That's
Yeah.
what it seemed like.
Wow, geez.
Yeah.
buddy, get control of yourself. All right, guys.
I'm under control right now, Mike.
So, Kara, let me ask you this: what have you been doing lately? What's the most recent thing you're doing? That you're
Oh
looking
man,
forward to?
literally. Well, first of all, Sin, I loved I've been waiting for this since last Sunday, because sometimes when we meet on our podcast, I'm like, I don't know what I've done in this week. Like, why are you asking me? Like, getting ready for the next one.
Yeah.
No, this weekend I actually have a thing. It was really cool. There was an event at Old Joliet Prison I got to go to. And I got to see Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman again. I haven't gotten to see them in person since last summer. So that was really cool to get to see them. And
Now, you said Joliet?
In Joliet, yep.
Is that the one that the Blues Brothers claim to be from?
It is.
Wow.
Right. Yep. Because it was Juliet and Jake.
Yeah, not like claimed to be from. It was filmed there. The
Right, so
opening parts. Yeah, it's legit. They were there. Yeah.
So the ending part you mean was filmed there? Everybody, when they're rocking out in jail, when they're in
beginning,
jail,
especially that whole beginning sequence.
All right. Because there's an ending scene.
There is in the cafeteria also. That I think was in a soundstage. That part of it. But it's the whole beginning was actually there.
Why? Sin, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just said she said it was legit. You should have picked up on that.
I did the L. I did do the L.
Betty did. Yeah.
I just thought that you guys were not approving of me, but I don't know why I went to the Blues Brothers. All right. So, what is the history on? Because Kara, I speak for the DUMM dumb. We want to know what the Joliet prison is. Why? Like, why is that even a big deal? What is it known for? It was in the Blues Brothers, so I'd actually like to know more.
Yeah. So, it is older than peanut butter, older than sliced bread. All of that opened in 1858, closed in 2002. It was the administration building. W.B. Dubois. I might be saying the wrong name. Literally just heard it 2 days ago.
If I'm not trying to make you an expert on the place.
Yeah, I kind of am though. I hang with the experts.
Just stop where you know stuff. Like, in other words,
I hang with them. So, famous architect designed the administration building. It is in the same style as our water tower place and some other cool things in Chicago.
Who was killed there? I want to know, buddy. Do you know anything about who was killed there?
Who was killed there? Tons of people, died, but there's a lot of stuff they don't want to admit to. So there were 13 executions with the electric chair. So we'll go to that. Once they stopped the executions, the chair left, and it is now at our sister prison, like in their basement. The sister prison, Statesville, is still active.
What is the chair called?
Old Sparky. Or do we just call it that? Like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I think you're right.
We also ever called it that, or if we just do. So 13 executions, all this stuff I just got a refresher on this weekend. Gacy is rumored to have been there, but actually I just found out this weekend Gacy was never actually there. So maybe when Ghost Adventures was there allegedly talking to his ghost, they weren't.
Kara, can I just throw one more at you really quick?
Yeah.
So you ever see the movie Vacation?
Vacation. No.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
With Chevy Chase?
Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yes, there's a whole long name there.
Well, it used to be called, no, I'm sorry, I'm old. When it was first released, it was released on the Just Vacation. Okay. And then they eventually went with National Lampoon's in front of it.
Adding more. Okay, so now I'm caught up. Now I'm there for it.
All right, so you've seen the movie, if maybe. His wife's nickname for him is what? Anybody?
Sparky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bang.
And they're also from the Chicago area, I believe.
Yeah.
Like the Blues Brothers.
So we could even talk about Blues Brothers stuff. So anyway, the prison was around for ages. Odette Allen, the a warden's wife, was killed there pretty infamously. And just a ton of deaths. There were TB wards that people, obviously died. Little point of trivia: nobody ever died anywhere but in the hospital. It was a lot more paperwork if somebody died in the yard. Died in the hospital.
No.
Even if they were long dead.
you know the problem is we're so in the Northeast where we are, me and Buddy at least. That's like we're just surrounded by shady people. So we just assume when you say that we don't ask questions. We say, oh, yeah. You could have just stopped and we just went, right, buddy? We would have been, oh, we get that.
Yeah.
Right.
Just in the hospital. Richard Speck was there. He's the he spent quite a bit of time. He murdered the student nurses. That was a big deal. He spent time there. And so then coming up to Blues Brothers, he they're from Chicago, right? So they would kind of base the story there. They filmed it over the course of, it took like 2 weeks to set up, but it was really only like a day or so of actual filming. Everybody pulled it off really well. All those prisoners you see are actual prisoners. All of the guards you see, except one is an actor, and I'm not even 100% which one. But all the guards you see are actual guards. The warden, that was the warden during the filming, still comes around and visits and, hangs out, tells you stories. And people
Wait,
all the time. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sin, do you know who John Hughes is?
John Hughes. Not off the top of my head, no.
Oh no!
Writer of movies, wrote Vacation. I think he wrote. Well, all right. He wrote Breakfast Club,
16 Candles.
16 Candles, and he did a
St.
bunch
Elmo's
of.
Fire.
You remember where they Breakfast Club? What city that was from?
St. Elmo. Was
No,
it?
no,
No.
Breakfast Club,
I'm
Breakfast
thinking
Club.
about a different movie. No.
Michael Anthony Hall's character wore the baseball hat at one point in the thing, the big C on it. Chicago.
Yeah, I was like here.
Chicago. It's easy.
Everything's
Guys.
Chicago for
It's
his
all
movie.
Chicago. I think they were all based in Chicago.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're all
even,
Chicago,
even
right?
Weird Science, which is written by him, is I think based in Chicago. I don't know what we just uncovered. I don't know what we just
kind of
uncovered.
a big
Chicago,
deal.
write it down.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal. So, but they filmed it in like, a pretty short amount of time. And of course, like all over the Chicago area for the rest of the movie. But that gate that he walked out when he was leaving prison, that gate wasn't in operation at the time. They didn't actually use it. The movie studio fixed the gate to the Sallyport to be able to use the East Sallyport for the filming. So people definitely park their motorcycles in front of that gate, take pictures. It's a big deal.
Kara,
yeah.
Kara, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What did you do when you went there? You show up, you're like, hey, prison. How you walk through like what are you seeing as you walk into the place? Kind of give me some sort of description so in my dumb head I can kind of picture exactly like.
So like if it's for a tour, like this weekend, it was, a paranormal investigation tour.
Yep.
You walk in, you check in to the gift shop, which is actually where the visitors would come through and the guards would come in to work, but now it's the gift shop. Then you go out, you walk through the parking lot, you walk along Collins Street, which is the big street. And you actually, to one side, you see the prison. And then to the other side, you see the women's prison, which is now leased by 13th Floor. And it's a haunt attraction. So that's a cool use of it. It's a little smaller, a little newer. And you walk in then through the East Sallyport gate and you go through the gate, which is pretty, interesting. It's pretty, pretty cool experience. And then you head into what's called the burn district now. There were some fires in 2012, I think. Arson, people set fires, and that actually kicked off the renovation, or at least kind of making it not abandoned of the prison, because they realized that this isn't okay. We can't just have the space that isn't really accessible because it's still Department of Corrections property. So literally the fire department had to just shoot water over. We're putting blankets over the barbed wire to try to get inside because they couldn't unlock it. I lived pretty close and you could just see it burned. It burned for a long time.
Stop where the blankets were. Go back. Say that again. You said that. Sin, did you notice she said that very fast and casually as if like that's just common?
Like it's normal.
Do the blankets over the... So wait a minute. Wait, Kara. By the way, Kara's like got all this stuff. She just wants to go pow, right?
I do. That's
I know.
I know.
But let's take it piece by piece. That way we'll get the best out of it. Because if you just keep going like pow,
I will.
All right. So
I
let me ask
pow
you
for 60 minutes. I got stories.
All right. Well, rock and roll, right? But Explain. Throw in the. What do you mean you grab the blanket? Throw it
Not
over
me,
the
the
barbed
fire
wire.
department.
That's what I'm saying. They just
So
explain this how quick it goes.
it's like a big castle with a
Mhm.
huge wall around it, like a 30-foot wall around it. It butts right
Right.
up to just like a regular street that you
Mhm.
use every day. Like it's, like there's not this maximum security prison right there. You're just driving
Right.
through, just going to a restaurant. So when the state walked away, they just locked the doors. And the state Department of Corrections still are the only ones that had the keys for a really long time. Nobody else did.
Yep.
Which wasn't the end of the world because we do actually have very close by in a neighboring town another state prison, real nearby. So there are guards
What
there
good luck!
that have keys.
What good luck!
I
Another
know,
prison.
fortunate. And it was built to be the sister prison because a long time ago, they were going to close the first prison. But then once they opened the then new prison, they were still both over capacity. So they couldn't close the old prison. So they ran concurrently for a long time and they were never supposed to. So people would break into the prison all the time. It was normal for people to do that. Plenty of people say, oh, yeah, I was here, prior to 2018 when nobody was supposed to be. And so somebody started some of the buildings on fire one day in like 2012-ish.
So that's the bullshit nizzle of
Yeah.
owning these properties. Like we've had on people in the past that have owned these properties, right? And it's always kind of a great idea or with a great intention or whatnot, and then it always goes left.
Well,
right?
it's
There's
hard.
always something that does. People are always like camping out, right?
Uh-huh.
Right, buddy. With places, it's like Woodstock at certain houses. It's ridiculous.
It was really, it's a tough thing to maintain, especially when there was no actual structure in place for anybody to maintain it, right? The state didn't care, and it was just kind of a scourge there for a while.
Yep.
Prison Break was filmed there for a minute after they closed. There's intermittently been filming and everything. So somebody would come in every now and again and do something, but not really. So an agreement happened between then the city and the state and a local museum to be able to have it be a thing, to have it be open. So there is a ragtag group of volunteers, which I'm part of, that have done a lot to clean it up and, maintain it, open up areas to make them safe enough for people to tour and explore. So that's been my primary role. And over time, then I got more involved in the paranormal side because the paranormal tours started, and I get to volunteer and work with an awesome guy that's been doing the paranormal thing for, like 30 years. So I became a part of that with him. We say we're just the sidekicks, a few of us, and getting to be a part of the paranormal stuff, which is, of course, a blast. That's way more fun to run around. Right. Who doesn't love running around a very, very old prison at night? Come on.
Find me up. No, Karen, I got a question for you.
No way would I do it. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
I worked in a prison myself. It's still an active prison. It's in Massachusetts. It's actually a forensic hospital, so it's a prison for the mentally ill, essentially.
Pretty cool, yeah.
And when you walk, it's not cool at all. When you walk in this place, you get that immediate.
I like psych nursing, though. I like all that.
I love psych. I'm doing that myself.
Right up my alley.
So I love the mentally ill, but just the grounds itself. It's been there for Christ over 150 years. It's archaic. There's been deaths there. There's been maltreatment over the years. It's a horrible place. It's like the opposite of Disney World. That's what I tell everybody. Oh, it's like to work in Bridgewater. It's like the opposite of Disney World.
It doesn't work anymore.
The least happiest place on earth. But you get this feeling whenever you're there. You just can feel the atmosphere, like the negativity. The I don't know what it is. It's just is that the same at like say Old Joliet Prison? Is you get that same heavy feelings, that negativity?
I never felt like it was heavy or negative.
Not like demonic or anything like that. Just
no. So there are one time I will say, so on like that demonic side, one time a bunch of us went to just like a local, minor league baseball game in town, and we all wore shirts, like all together trying to be cute. And there was a former guard sitting there, an old guy, and he said, "Oh, you don't go in there, do you?" And we go, well, yeah, we spend a lot of time there. He goes, no, there's demons that that'll change you. You can't. And we're like, hey, it's open for tours. Come hang out with us. He's going, no, I will never set foot in there again. And neither should any of you. No one should ever go in there. So, and I said, well, yeah, horrible things have happened there. He goes, it's not just, the people that were there. It's not the people like because he was working with the live prisoners that were maybe awful. It was just, he's just saying everything, it
People that
holds
work
a lot,
there, yeah.
it holds all of that. And I remember, I could just picture him saying that because it was pretty ominous, but no, I've never felt like that. There's one area now, one gallery that last year, it never was like this, but last year there was a day that daytime that two of us, Nikki is, kind of my buddy, though, we're always together, my friend. And we walked in and we just said, whoa, something is not okay there. We could see like the light was different. It looks, things were shifting. It wasn't, and it felt like we shouldn't have anything to do with it. It just felt not okay. So, of course we walked towards it. Of course we had to check it out. And, we both just stopped at the same spot and we were both just, and you kind of couldn't see 5 feet ahead of you. No good reason other than, something paranormal. And later that day, a medium came through and actually said, whoa, there's something here. And felt that before. And she was able to name Nikki and I, like that, what she was sensing named us. And so we're like, all right, it just doesn't like us. And still, and it's to this day, it has stayed really just negative. And, we just say, ugh, and it's an awful feeling, but that literally is the only area that we feel like that. Every now and again, you go in a spot and, walk past a cell and you just kind of, something's not okay, but it's not, for us, not an oppressive feeling, all over.
All right. Sin, let me ask you this. Here's what I hear, and here's my issue with this. So here's me and the paranormal, and then there's the three of you. I'm always like, I'm not gonna risk something negative happening if I know that it's on the table. And what's weird is like it's like I haven't felt anything negative yet. To me, sounds like, hey, I just won a bunch of money at that blackjack table, but let me go lose some first, and then we'll leave. It's like, why would you do that? Get out. You've had some good adventures. Nothing negative has happened yet. Like, I'm being honest. Like, I always worry about when the negative comes because I can't believe, and again, it's me, that there isn't positive without negative. So if you ever meet something positive, which I think we've all have, or maybe we have, I don't know. There's negative things and thoughts.
Yeah, if you got one, you've got the other. You have to. You have to. But I think what she's saying is that she's not met anything yet that felt so bad that she couldn't walk toward it. That's what I'm hearing. And that's exactly the way I felt. I've never run into anything demonic, ever. Don't want to. Not looking for it.
So, all right. The dad in me.
There is a chance. Yeah, sure. I get it. But I'm not looking for it.
My whole thing is, everyone we've ever had on this show that claims to have reached that point seems like, buddy, right? I know you're enjoying that delicious local brewery. What's it called? Littlefield that you get on the table from. I mean, you talk to, buddy. Help me here.
Yes.
Yeah. Were you listening to me at all?
I was, Mike.
What did I say then?
About the negative stuff and.
Oh, I hate you so much.
I was listening in the moment. You made me forget because you.
I have made you
by talking about my fear, and my mind just went to that part.
Who's this? Anybody with psych evaluate right now? Isn't that signs of lying? Like, oh, you made me. Oh, probably. Right? Am I right? Kara, yes.
I mean, I admit I was distracted by watching him pour. I'm gonna totally admit.
It was very distracting.
I feel like if I was the one doing the pouring, I don't know if I would have heard anything because I was distracted just watching it.
Oh, no. I agree. But the point is, shame on him because he's supposed to be listening.
All right, Mike, go ahead. Ask me again, please.
No, you guys, all three of you guys agree. You all want to keep running until I was trying to say that the guests that we had on the show that I've met like something bad seem broken. Do they not? The true ones, like the ones we got a feeling that, wait a minute, they did see something.
Like Barry out in England, he seemed, or Ireland rather, he seemed, Barry Fitzgerald of Ghost Hunters, he seemed pretty torn up about his experiences with the negative or the.
We have the saddest Barry Fitzgerald interview that's ever been done. He's just sad. I'm being dead serious.
He's a cool guy, though. Such a great guy. I mean, it was like.
But isn't that like just people in general? If another person met that entity or whatever, would they be so sad? Same thing, what I do is for work is pretty sad usually.
Well, if you were,
so I mean, like it's how you perceive it and how you handle it too.
But it's also environment. Would you agree to that?
I mean, everything's environment, so if you have a supportive, if you're healthy
all right,
enough.
But 3 miles under the ground.
If what?
If you're 3 miles on a dig under the ground.
Oh,
thank you.
I'm not happy with this already.
This is where they heard and saw something reminiscent of the Skinwalker Ranch or whatever he was trying to.
Well, yeah, that just feels unpleasant though. So I mean, like.
But this is what I'm asking you again. I'm just trying to prove my point.
Would I necessarily do that? I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Because that seemed like a no-win situation. Didn't that seem like a no-win situation though? Digging 3 miles into the earth.
Yeah, that just doesn't. I don't want to do that anyway. Ghost or no ghost.
That's a lot of digging.
And then what was it? It was the hissing again, and he wouldn't tell us what it was. But he used the word. It changed his whole paradigm.
Right, paradigm. He used a big word.
And we paused the show for a good 10 minutes. And then we came back and we all regrouped. We went over the word paradigm.
Paradigm.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Right? Buddy, we thought completely different things.
I thought it was like paradigm, but yeah, it was pronounced totally different.
Anyway, Sin, what would you like to add?
I would not have gone with that guy. I don't want to be underneath there. No.
Yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, so I think for me, I'm only going into situations that I am comfortable with.
There you go.
I don't think I'm doing something. If I'm inherently uncomfortable and it seems inherently awful, I'm not doing it.
Good.
So even if I am going into a tunnel, if I don't like it, I'll turn around.
Good. All right, buddy. What the hell?
That just was something.
What was going on? And then the other thing I wrote really quick, guys, was for Carol, the word you described it was ugh.
That's probably my best.
Is that the word though?
Honestly, probably if I spent more time, honing my,
No, I like the word,
but it is.
No, I enjoy that word.
You just feel it. It's how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Say it one more time.
Just.
Buddy, go ahead. I'm gonna give you another one just because you've been so good. You look so good tonight. Good.
Oh, thank you, Mike. So do you venture? I mean, Illinois is a fairly big state. I imagine there's a lot wrapped around Illinois. The history alone is exciting. But do you travel much out of state? Do you go all over the country, or you just kind of stay in your home area?
For years now, we've been really tied just to our prison. So it's been, we all kind of say nope, every Saturday we're going. This year, we're really trying to make a concerted effort to not do that, and spread our wings a little bit. We really branched out. We're going into, right across the border into Indiana to clean another, and work with another historic jail. So really, getting wild, finding instead of a prison, it's a jail. But it's the one that Dillinger was at, but also now we're saying, okay, we're gonna, we'll go to OSR. I think in July we'll make it to OSR, but we all have our schedules and I work every third weekend, so we're all having to be such boring adults and plan, look at our planners. When can we do this? So there's only so much traveling we really do because we've been so tied up with one place, but the goal is to do a whole lot more.
Yeah, planners suck.
I know it's so stupid, and I'm in school too. So I really, it's a big deal.
See, people talk about fears, and I say stuff like my biggest fears are checking my email, seriously, things like that.
No, I hate it. I pretty much just hold on the notifications, and I'm like, seems like nothing.
Yeah, people are like, no, it's no big deal. I'm like, no. Even when it's on my phone, if you, buddy, you ever get that thing on your phone where it says it's like a text message? You can't figure out where the frig it is.
You can't figure out where it's coming from. Yeah.
What do you mean there's a new one? I keep hitting the one, and but it keeps saying new. Am I right or wrong? Wrong.
Right. No, you're right. That happens to me all the time, Mike. Yeah.
All right. So, Kara, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The prison. Did you start with the prison and then move to paranormal, and then realize that as long as I control my situation of where I'm walking into, then this will be fun. And it's more about a personal thing, experience, than it is about like proving something. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, we proved this.
So
like,
yeah,
you think everybody's gonna
I am definitely more about just the experience and the personal experience. As far as, you know, being into the paranormal, I think that's been my whole life. Chicago is, you know, you grow up kind of spooky in Chicago, you know, everybody's kind of into it. You just grow up with, you know, it's just normal stories you hear about and things that everybody just kind of believes. You know, Resurrection Mary is the cemetery that my family is buried at, you know, so all these normal things that you grow up hearing, just ghosts are part of the narrative, and plenty of experiences growing up and through the years for me. So for me, it's always been like about the experience. And actually, when I first got to the prison, it was years before I had a paranormal experience that I admitted to. I think there were things that I was seeing or whatever, but I was like, no, that I wanted something to just like jump in front of me and like really be clear and obvious, not just, I think I saw. So I really wasn't admitting to anything. And, you know, then I finally did. But still, I think the most amazing is the shared experiences, not even, you know, an EVP is super cool, or, you know, something on the necrophonic app, like, you know, communicating is super cool. I love when a medium can verify something just independently and say something, but really at the end of the day, I think it's like experiences with my friends, you know, is probably what I'm there for, you know, just kind of the fascination with, there is obviously something else. And it's so cool that I can see, feel, hear it.
The state of Illinois, the South is southern. The North is northern. If you want to see the closest thing resembling the Civil War, you have Illinois.
Yeah.
That's my humblest opinion, because I've met people from up, down, and it's just, they're different.
It's very different. Yeah. It is not the same.
It changes fast. I don't know where the line is.
In Southern Illinois. Like it's a Southern accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Sin has a Southern accent.
Just a little bit, though.
Just a touch. I mean,
they're the best at insults because they make it sound like they're giving you a compliment.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I'll bring you a casserole.
See, it's in the Northeast, especially, buddy. You got a beer on you?
I do, Mike. Of course.
Especially around the Italians where we grew up. It was really like, how about fangul? It's just, they would throw curses at each other and walk away. Like, that was just how you resolved an argument. Like, so I wish we had such grace and such like buddy, right? Like, other voices sound like they're almost singing sometimes to us. And we just sound like we're refusing to pronounce certain letters.
It's true.
We're not Massachusetts, which is, oh, God, guy, get the cat. What? The cat. Come on, get scat. Who? Scat. It's the worst. Boston's the worst. And they're only, what, 50 miles from us, buddy?
Maybe 40 of that, yeah.
But
and it really starts to change around Taunton. And the closer you get to Boston, oh my God, they get thick, they get heavy. You get sliced their accent with a knife easily.
The only place worse, and it's the worst place in the entire country, is Philadelphia. And I love the city. No, I love the city. Oh, wait, I didn't finish. I love the city. I love the people there, most of them. I just hate the Eagles. I hate the Eagles so much. I hate the Eagles so much that I hate their city now, and it's been like that for me for years. I hate them so much. I just hate them.
I thought you were still talking dialect, and I was going to.
No. I'm talking about Philly in general, the city. I hate the Eagles so much. I went to Philadelphia. I had a great time.
Every show gets there.
Yeah.
But I hate Philly. I got to mention that. We're at 7:40 on my clock, so I had to say that. I had to get it in really quick. I hate Philadelphia. We're talking about cities. I'm in. So, all right, let me ask Kara this. Yes. So, you seem like you're really like on your game. You seem very you're one of those people that gets this, and then just knocks them through, right?
Yes.
All right. I am not one of those people. I'm one of those people that goes 1, 2, 3, and then he goes 1, 2 down, and comes 1, 2, 3. Because I need like a pace. Like I can't. I wish I had it as precise as you do. Being a nurse must go into the way you are when you talk, when you handle somebody. Like there must be certain ways you ask questions. Like I notice nurses. This is my one take. They don't want to know the story. They want to know what's wrong. So they're pretty much going like, "What happened?" And the guy will go, "Oh, my brother came over." And it's like, just what?
So
happened?
yeah, it depends how much time I have that day. Some days I'm like, because I get to do such a cool thing. I get to be like so immersed in somebody's life for 12 hours. For 12 hours, I will know every bizarre thing about your life, things that you kept a secret. Suddenly, that person is showing up to visit you and fighting with somebody else. And, this weird health decision you made a long time ago, it matters now, all these crazy things, which are fantastic because I love people. I love people so much. Maybe not every person all the time, but
But you
I
get to
love
watch the
humans.
pieces. You basically get to watch the pieces, the Reese's pieces to their demise.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, and that's, I think, part of it too. Like that's how I became a nurse, probably, being so tasky and getting through everything, but also that experience too. Again, I have,
So,
a pretty sad job. I'm around a lot of the end.
well, here's
How
the thing.
long?
Good. Son.
How long have you been ICU nurse?
I was, as a new grad, I actually started doing that. And then after 3-ish years, I left. And for a while, I went to like perioperative stuff, like less stuffy, more outpatient-y, a little bit more. And I spent years, I'm not joking, years, when people would get dressed to go home, I go, "Look at you, you're dressed, you're going home." And they would be like, "Yes, I sure am." Did you expect something different? No. I went back for COVID. They were where I worked. We had a labor pool, so I was only supposed to go back for 13 weeks. And then I did CPR again for the first time, and I could do the job, and not many people could. And I said, I can't leave this again. And then I stuck around. So it's been since COVID then.
So check this. I know one woman who works in like the emergency care like unit of this emergency room where there's like constant like the gunshots come in, all that stuff. And I know 2 morticians, believe it or not. I was like, how do you separate and you're able to do that? And what's weird is all 3 of those people are completely different people.
Yeah.
They're not even close to the same people, but they have the same ability that I do not.
So we talk about that sometimes, like that detachment, that weird detachment that you have to do. That like there are some times I like kind of pop back in and I go, "This is what I'm doing right now." That's weird, We actually were just pretty recently, a coworker and I, putting somebody in a body bag and talking about how we couldn't be morticians, though. The thought of having to take this person out of the bag and whatever state they're in, because I mean, coolers aren't perfect. It's not, they're not coming out perfect, even though they were in the cooler for however long. And then the mortician has a lot of work to do. So the thought of opening that bag horrifies me.
I mean, look, so here's the thing. So one of them told me this, and this sounded sick in my head at the time, but it made sense to me as I thought about it. They're like, you understand, like, there's certain things like I like about my job. And I was like, well, I mean, she's like, I have the power to control my own mind where I don't let certain things bother me. And it's like a karate belt in my head of like building up this ability that I can do. And I'm like, I can see that in all these people because it's not like, all right, it's not that they want the rush. They're not looking for rush. They're not looking to whatever, but they know that they can stand up when something crazy goes down and they're not afraid to just stand there. And that's buddy, I call that the me in the Chinese restaurant theory. The woman jumps up, she goes, "I'm choking to death." I get up, I walk to her. Nobody in the restaurant moved. No one got up. No one did a thing. I had to yell at her friends to move away. I did a sweep. The chicken thing came flying out on the table. She went in the bathroom and threw up. There's this whole big scene. I've had that happen a couple times. People around here, man, you go down, you yell help. they just keep eating their eggs, and they're like coffee.
Or
It's
filming.
Or
Oh,
filming nowadays. Yeah.
It's awful.
Right.
So yeah, no, I definitely yeah, I don't necessarily at this point. There was a time I would get excited when something like bad was happening.
The action, yeah.
I don't anymore. That's actually when I left critical care the first time, is when I stopped being excited, like when there was something going on. Because you start out like, okay, let's go. I'm thrilled about this. Even you don't want a bad thing to happen, but you're excited, you're there for it, And I left when I didn't feel that, because I thought that meant like, oh, I'm done here. I'm supposed to be excited. Now I realized, no, you don't want to be excited, but you also don't want to be scared or dreadful either. You say, this is what I do now. You walk towards the emergency, because you're going to handle it.
In your years as a nurse, how many weird things have happened that might be considered paranormal?
So I will say, okay, so when I was little, and even through the years, I definitely have had a lot of paranormal experiences, so much so that I thought it was really normal. Eventually along the way, I stopped having them, and I realized, I'm not joking, it's when I became a nurse that I stopped seeing anything. I didn't see, feel, hear anything for years. And talking to some other nurses that are into, the paranormal, they also said, you know what, I never thought about that, but yeah, it's been forever. And I think it's because I am just like at that veil all the time, that if I can actually see Rob, the guy that does the paranormal tours that is my guy, one day, it was so cute. He goes, you must have been there, at some point when somebody died. I mean, you were there. And I go, oh my God, all the time. Like, what? Once, all the time. So I think I kind of, you kind of don't want to see that. We did have, I will say, when you go through like closed areas of the hospital, maybe it's not as busy, so areas are closed. I will admit, I do see like there's like shadows, there's things, and you kind of say, oh, this doesn't feel, ugh. And you kind of rush through the unit a little bit to get to where other live people are. Well, and I don't notice that too much because I work days and it's super busy and there's people all around me. But there's one, it was a COVID death, but it was long, it was a long COVID. He was with us for a very long time. He, we got to know his wife really well. And it was Christmas Eve, actually, that he died. Christmas Eve, early morning. She left, finally. What year? It must have been 21. Yeah, it must have been 21.
Christmas Eve, you say?
And what was that? Christmas Eve, yeah. And the room he was in, so he was in the room, his wife left, and we spent a long time in there, because she was there by herself. And we got him in the body bag. We called for transport to take him to the morgue. The transporter was about to walk in and the bathroom call light went off. And never does that ever, that's a manual flip. It wasn't manual. We had to like flip it on and flip it off, actually, to like get it to turn off. That is the only time that has ever happened. And at the door, I just like stop. We're about to walk in. I was going to help him, and I just stopped and I said, we're going to walk in there together. This is not something that normally happens. Because it doesn't. And, I definitely turned into a pretty big wuss about it because I was like, I am not in the mindset for this. This is not what's supposed to happen right now. And the curtain was closed. So it's one of those, like, for a second in your brain, you're like, did he get up? Like, is this like, what is happening in here? We opened the curtain. He was still laying there and I didn't move.
You know what? Here's the thing. We work at a hospital when people die.
All the time.
Yeah, I believe there might be some spirits. Now.
Oh, yeah. There are. We once had a medium. This was before I got there. I work in a new hospital it's an old hospital in a new building. There was a medium like right before I was there that was in one of the rooms, and she, I guess, could see everybody. And she was telling the nurses stories about people that have died. Oh, he was in this room. This is what happened. And she was right. She wasn't wrong. So apparently, our unit is just loaded at any given moment. I just don't think I want to open myself up to seeing any of that on any given day because I don't need that in my life. I got to go.
There it is. All right. But see, now that just explains everything to me because that's what I always say to people. Like, I tried so long to not let anything in because I don't need more problems. That's what that comes down to. That it has nothing
Yeah.
to do other than me being kind of like, my plate's full.
Yeah, you block yourself. Yeah.
But like at a haunted location where I would want to see something, then I'm like, all right, now sit in it and I can be open to it. But I'm not doing that at work. I
So
don't need that.
here's the other part of that as most of the story. So we lost my mom 2 days later on the 26th. I was 21.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
And I appreciate it. Thank you. We went to the mortician, I guess, and it was all discussing when she was going to get cremated. And I didn't care about any of that. It was just the guys like, we can't get her out till like Friday. And I was like, today's like Monday or Tuesday. You know what I mean? I don't know what day it was, something like that. But it was like, and both my brothers were like, all right. And I was like, no. I said, I'm not leaving here. No, there's no way you're keeping her here for 4 days. No, nope. And everyone's like, what's the matter with you? Why are you causing like a problem? And I'm like, no, because I don't trust any of that. No. She's not gonna go unaccounted for like 4 days. No. Does anybody know what I'm saying when I say that without saying it? I'm like, no, you're not. Nothing's happening. Like, no. I want to know where she is, when she's being delivered. I'll be there when it comes. I don't give a flying. Am I wrong for throwing that tantrum? Would anybody here else?
No, I think everybody feels that way. They just won't say it. That I
think everybody just says okay, and you don't think about it.
Yeah, that was kind of what it was.
Don't want to think about it.
Yeah, you just don't want to. I think it's just, our brains shut a lot of things out. Yeah. And you just say okay when you have to say okay.
Yeah, that's also sounds like a relationship. Buddy, speaking of relationships,
getting by in life,
Right, buddy. No, I just like yelling your name like that. Would you like to ask another question?
Oh boy. Well, I had the question about nursing and seeing ghosts.
I know you do. Go ahead.
I was sitting on that forever, and then Sin went and took my question.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. No, I'm no hard feelings.
I'm in healthcare too.
You feel like being a nurse maybe opens you up a little bit more, Kara, to this. I know a few nurses out there that since they've become nurses and since they've been in the field for a while, they start to have experiences. I don't know if it's because of the helping, or do you think it's just something that's ingrained in you for your entire life?
Can I speak for Kara? Kara would say no. Kara would say no because she just said a little while ago that she shut everything down when she was a nurse. So therefore, she would not allow herself to let anything in or out, which is a great way to do things, turtle shell, and get your ass through that and get through the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, she just want to go to bed and have like things swimming through her head and dancing around her bed. And she wakes up, there's that little girl with the long hair at the foot of her bed. And then the lights come on and she's gone. If Kara has that bullshit on top of the work, Kara's out. Yeah. And I'm speaking in the third person. Kara's out. I'm out. Kara, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, no, I think that's why at the prison I didn't see anything for a really long time because I just was. First of all, I think I was wanting something a lot more than I was ever gonna see, right? And then, and I think the spirits kind of need to get to know you a little bit sometimes if they're gonna do anything. There needs to be some energy there. But yeah, no, I'm not trying to like just be wide open to anything walking around. Maybe I know I can see things, I can smell, I can feel, and I'm sure if my livelihood depended on being open to it and, interacting with the other side a little more, maybe I would hone in on that. But I think mine probably depends on not interacting with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's if I had to, I say, oh, that's something I could work on. When I have a little bit more like open bandwidth in my brain and more time, I think that's something I'll work on. But for now, I got a lot of things to do.
When you're speaking of your mind in the terms of bandwidth, you have a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
Now, so
every minute's accounted for.
You're maintaining the prison 1, right? You guys are all right. Looking to go to prison 2, Oh, you've already added the sister
Already
one.
added prison 2, so
Added
cut way back on 1, and we'll
Right.
see like how involvement continues in the future as changes happen, at the city level and everything. Prison 2, it's a jail. The bummer is it's just a little further. So, it's fun when something is 5 minutes away. It's a little less fun when it's a solid hour away. So that'll be, like once or twice, every couple months or whatever. And then working on just like field trips and other fun stuff.
to prisons,
Probably.
right? That's what you're saying.
Let's
You
be
just said
honest.
field
Yeah.
trips and other fun stuff, and I'm thinking where to where? Prisons.
Prisons. Yeah. Maybe like old asylums, we'll mix it up a little.
Oh yeah.
Stuff
Hey,
like
mix it up,
that.
throw it in. Hey, well, you know what? Why don't you go to like a local cemetery
Well, of course. I mean, that's just normal.
and do like buds and bingo and just
Like we
modernize it.
have we have Bachelor's Grove close by, so I hadn't been there in forever. Went pretty recently again, which was fun. So we're kind of saying like, oh, we'll have to do a get together like in the Forest Preserve across the street, like barbecue and have some hot dogs or whatever, and head across the street and hang out. I mean, that's where you go when you're a teenager. You go at night, worry about getting arrested, and you run around and you think you see ghosts, and who knows?
Or you see a UFO, or you see a UFO while you're drinking Seagram's
Something.
wine coolers.
And you're off running through the forest, and it's a fun time at that point. But so when you go as an adult during the day, it's a little less wild, but
So it sounds like the paranormal, what do I want to call it, buddy? What's a good word for the society of it? The people, the whole
community.
There it is.
Community,
We'll call
yeah.
it community. Yeah. All right. First of all, I love them because and this might be how you turn, like they're such open people, but then there's also people that are completely not open. Like,
Right.
it's so much fun to be in that group. Like, the conversations for me, like I just like to talk. Having a conversation in the paranormal world, I know I can find one person who thinks this, one person who thinks the exact opposite. I know I can now. I got enough spiderweb where I can just
Sure.
It's almost like I want to have like monster matches with Godzilla, King Kong, like the bigger names that just totally disagree on certain things. And here brings me to this, buddy. I waited to the end. I didn't bring it up early.
Look at you, Mike.
Whenever I hear the whole thing about I heard children's voices, I get a bug up my because my whole thing is first of all, there's two camps, right? Let's just pretend, but in Buddy's world, where there's loons that fly around this fake background.
Fake is the mountains of Smithfield, Mike.
Did I just say fake? I didn't mean that. Did I just say that? I didn't mean that. Did I just say that? I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it, buddy. My bad. My bad. Anyways, there's two camps. One thinks they're demons. One thinks they might actually be children. Now, I like the camp of their demons because I got a whole theory. I won't go into it, but I like that camp. Let's just say that.
Because you don't want to think kids are stuck here?
Well, no. I continue.
Mike's very idealistic.
So we have people that help people pass on. Do we not have people who claim they can help people pass on? Mm-hmm. Do we not? Right?
Yes.
We do. Now,
crossover. Yeah, the crossover.
All right, whatever. Crossover, pass on, move up, go down.
Help them pass on. We call those hospice nurses.
Guy, how do you even know? How do you even know which way they go? We don't know. We haven't gone there yet. So I digress. I just forgot, buddy, now what I was saying.
Children's voices, Mike. Children. Are they demons or are they actually children?
That's what I meant.
I think they're children. You think they're demons?
Yeah. So what I meant to say was these people that help them pass over, why would they not go help all the kids that are stuck in these hospitals and prisons? And then I say, well, I kind of know why. I think some places they might not be let in because some of these places make money on the fact that there's actually kids' voices in these places. That's like a catch-22 there. Like it's like a place that uses it to have
Asylum, I believe, is one that
they have like a tours, but yet you claim they're really kids. The coach in me is like, well, man, if you could help them pass over, get in my bus. Let's go.
So say at these places like where they're claiming to have kids' voices. So I mean, I think important would be like, were there actually kids there for there to be kids that are voices? Right. So that would be my first question. I mean, or are they kids' voices, or is it just how it's coming across? Like, and
Right.
how we're perceiving it. Is it adult? It doesn't even have to be. I'm not saying it's kids or demons necessarily. I'm gonna go right down the middle and be like, so what are you using? Is it an app and you're trying to say it's a different voice? Is it a spirit box? Is it just straight up EVPs? Are
It's
you
hearing a voice. It's actually
are you
hearing a voice.
using like cat balls and you're saying, look, a kid would play with it, or is it an adult ghost that could also,
It's
kick it
hearing.
back?
Hearing
So
like a
I think it's
high-pitched
kind of funny.
voice.
Like everybody wants to jump to kids because kids being ghosts or like the black-eyed children, that's creepy, like just inherently creepy and scary. So I think we just jump to kids when is it?
No, I don't jump to kids because I don't think they're creepy. I think they're aggravating. I have a couple and they're just aggravating people. They're
But
not
ghost kids are creepy.
They're not creepy. They're not. They're aggravating. Here's the thing. But if they're really kids, like we hear voices sometimes, buddy, right? My point is, if you can help people pass over, why
Oh,
would
you
you not try
should,
to
like
do
with the kids especially.
Right.
that? I mean, I
Or
don't want to
or
be
can
this.
they really, or are they really helping people cross over? Like is it
Well, that's
really
my whole point.
needed?
Like, I'm not trying to start the everybody walks outside their house and grabs hands and we sing some Pepsi commercial. I'm just trying to say, like, you got to go towards something like that. Is that your power? Some people say that's. I mean, sin. Like some people claim to have this ability. I'm not saying they
Yeah.
don't have this ability. Why don't they use it for? Why don't they use it for good, buddy? As the loons fly in your background, which I still don't believe is real. Why don't they use it for good? So, Kara, have you seen the people yet in the business that you 100% trust, but then you go, wow, I don't trust that guy at all. Now that's someone I'm not gonna trust, and it's just like I don't want to know if you see yet colors around people or what their energy thing
No,
is.
I don't. I don't see auras. No, I think do I call it like somebody that I 100% trust? I think I decide, I'm not making decisions based on like the paranormal necessarily. It's just on them like as people. So I think if you're trying to idolize somebody that seems like they see things or they do things, I think there's some, television personalities that have been pretty in question lately and a lot of, stuff with that. I think I look at them as people and I go, do I like you as a person? And then if you're cool as a person and I feel like I'm okay at assessing people, pretty okay, then I will talk to you about paranormal stuff. And then at that point, I'm still like kind of skeptical, like, and want to know your opinion. I'm not just saying, well, this person said this, because really none of us even know. Everybody's just saying things they think. Like, let's wait till they die and tell us from the other side if we're gonna know something. So yeah, no, I don't think I've had like a paranormal celebrity idol and then
If we had like if we had paranormal celebrities, that's the term. There's a group, but I would be the one that would want to be the reporter because you know how little I know, right? About
Right, yeah, you'd be the guy on the scenes, Mike. Just say.
'cause I know so little that it's scary. They want to do a show on Monday. Jai Mack wants to do one on horror movies. Just that alone, and I'm like, I maybe know 2, maybe know 3.
Yeah,
I think I've seen Ghost Hunters maybe once, maybe one episode of the whole series of all that stuff. I'm
going to go ahead and admit I can't just sit there and just like watch these paranormal shows. Like
Right.
I can kind of some of them, especially if I mean to, or if I know the person whose show it is, then I'm like, oh, cool, and I can watch because I'm watching that person. To just like pick a paranormal show up, I struggle a little bit because
I struggle a lot myself. I hear you. It's not realistic at all.
You know what?
Yeah, and it's just it's so much. It's to watch like a season of something, and each show is usually pretty similar. I have a hard time. I can usually only watch it if I know the person.
So, Sin, let me ask you this. I've always thought that paranormal best comes through in a radio/podcast format as opposed to like these TV shows that like have suspense music and like every show they find something. Like
Mhm.
I think people lean towards conversations about the paranormal
Yeah,
as opposed to evidence, which we're all gonna go, CGI, it's this, that, and the other, this letter.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong on that, Sin?
Yeah, no. We had can I mention one of the shows in particular?
Yeah, why can't you?
Please.
Zach himself
That's who I
came
was. Yeah.
to Lincoln County down here to the old Fayetteville Hospital. They
Yeah.
showed up. But listen, they showed up with a script that had nothing to do with the hospital. Nothing.
Well,
And a
'Cause they
few
were
of us
actors.
said,
because
look, just go in, just investigate. It's haunted. You will find something.
Mhm.
And after the third person told him that, he goes, oh, well, maybe we should just go in blind and see what we can find. You think?
Mhm.
you know what? And now I'm
No,
thinking,
they come in with
Yeah.
scripts.
They were
Well, they
actors.
writers,
They were
yeah.
all actors before they were on the show.
I'm thinking the same thing I was thinking last time you brought this up, and that's the same thing as this. I can't believe Zach Morris and AC Slater came down, and you were upset the fact that they had a script. I don't know what the big to do is. I don't know who Zach is. You can't just say the name Zach like he's Prince to me. I
Oh,
don't know who he is.
I mean, okay, so
We all know
you're
that.
the only person that
That's
I
does
am.
not
I
recognized.
know. I know.
Ghost Adventures. Ghost
Didn't I?
Yeah,
Adventures.
Ghost Adventures.
Zach Bagans.
Bagans. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He has crowned himself king of the paranormal world.
I mean,
And
and he has been on TV forever.
I
All
do
right.
want to go to Las Vegas to see his store, the
Yeah.
museum that has everything. Would I want to actually touch the stuff in there?
No.
But I
So-
would like to see it.
I don't think they have an
Yeah.
actual understanding of what they're
He's an
doing.
actor. He's an
And that's
actor.
yeah, and I have to give him credit that he's been doing this for so long that he really
Absolutely.
established a place.
Made a buttload of money with it
The
too.
Harmon
And-
glasses, right?
And I think anytime the glasses are like a more recent. But also anytime with these shows, like the other people that are on, have had TV shows will say, anytime we start to get more like actual investigation or actual, try to talk about science, people start turning the TV off real quick. And so
Right.
people want
Yes.
this like just kind of scripted jump scares and
They want the real
these
factor.
are-
Yeah.
so I
We
think
had a-
like in a TV format, I think that's what people like because a real investigation, I mean, let me tell you, just after a while, your back hurts, you're standing on concrete and like
You
it's not
fall
that
asleep.
exciting.
Yep.
And you might get nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How
And
disappointing,
they
like
usually they put 4 days, or they did here, on the schedule to film a 45-minute show. So, you have to take the best of to make that show so that people will come back and see the next one.
Yep.
So, 4 days worth of clips running 24/7. And they pick the best of, and that's what goes on television. People go, wow,
Yeah.
we have got to go there and see exactly what they found.
So
And
listen,
people want to see exactly what was on the show. No, I mean, and really all those shows too, like you're supposed to be very somber about ghosts. Are you afraid to be? I'm very afraid.
I
This
can't.
place that I'm at all the time, I'm terrified. Like they want that from you.
Right.
And which is so crazy to me. Like, so I'll name a name and I just love him. Chris Fleming, he's so cool, like in person, and I enjoy his shows, but he truly believes, and it comes through like on his shows and everything he does, he thinks the paranormal is really exciting. And I mean, I do, and he gets excited. He goes, did you see that? It's jubilant. Hey, this is what we're here for. And this is happening. And I love that because I, like when I was there was a show I was on, and the interview, it was like a fun interview, but it was almost painful because he's like, okay, say that again, but not smiling, and it has to be, yes, I am so scared to be here. And I'm like, I just swept this right before you guys came all by myself, like it's a great time. It's my favorite place to be. And they don't want that, and I love like the Chris Fleming vibe, which is so unusual, to say, no, this is what we're here for. And this is amazing that we're having this interaction and doing this. So I appreciate not somber and not scripted.
Right.
Kara-
Being an investigator from Rhode Island, I have the privilege of knowing a particular paranormal group who got their own TV show and had a spin-off for a while over in Europe. And many members, about 2 or 3 members of either TV show have told me that they spent the first 2 hours of every investigation filming emotion. Like, dude, what was that? Just filming stuff like that.
What?
If you tell me that shit happened, then you tell me the whole thing was fake.
Yeah.
I can't believe any of it. If you're just filming emotions so that they can plug them into certain like spots on the TV.
How
on the TV
interesting.
show.
I like that. That's a
Oh,
cool
so
thing to know,
disgusting,
you know.
Dude,
So since then, I haven't watched any of the shows. I can't. I start to get into like we had the guys from 28 Days on Netflix. That show was moderately interesting, but I mean, they seem like they're all the same at this point.
Listen. First off, they're TV shows. The minute that's said, everything further is bullshit. The way they want it, that will sell and make them revenue. That's it.
It's
If you
true.
think
Yeah,
there's
no, it
anything
totally
involved,
is.
There's not. There
That's
never
it.
will be. They don't care about what you got to say. They just want people to like what you're saying or hate it so they can make a bunch of money off you.
Absolutely.
That's the TV shows. So there's a check on that.
And before we leave the TV show
Go ahead, buddy.
segment, this group that I was talking about before, in some of their earlier seasons, they would have 2 investigations, one where they'd find something, and one where they just sometimes wouldn't at all. And that was refreshing as an investigator, not see everything is always haunted because it's not.
Yeah.
You know.
Look, the whole paranormal thing, right? This whole paranormal world. We started, buddy, with this show. What is your track record?
We're at about 117-ish.
And how many years? How many years are you? 2?
2 years. 2 years.
So
2.5 years.
before that, I was on like a good 4-year tier of fantasy football, other sports, stuff like that. So I'm like, we should do a paranormal show on Sundays like Art Bell. And I'm like, but if we're doing it, I don't want to do so when you saw the ghost, what did you think? Well, I was scared. Oh, how scared were you? Terrified. But that's just not happening.
Yeah, no, I don't, because it's not. I mean, sometimes you're scared, but the scared is even part of the funny story.
Mm-hmm.
I feel cringe for all involved when I go back and I watch like a podcast or somebody like if Buddy throws a name at me and he's like, prepare a little bit, like he's really like, you know, I'll just watch them in another podcast and I swear it's like my good luck, but it's always that same guy asking questions, not the same guy, different people, but they're always like, oh, how did you feel about that? And I'm like, oh God. Because I literally start to like shake, and there's that red ball dog thing in me that's like I just want to get out of there when I start hearing that shit. It's like they're lulling me to sleep. Like they're lulling me. If you don't change your tone or inflection at all, you got to check your pulse. Like I don't know how you pull that off. I don't know how anyone would want to listen to that. Buddy, how good is that beer, and how much are they paying you?
I switched the beer, Mike. I went from drinking Little Farm to Pie Chart. Pie Chart is a sour.
You don't have to break it down. You don't
Sour
know.
is my
It's
favorite.
a strawberry rhubarb. It's delicious, Mike. I'm sorry. Go on.
I will be drinking sour beer tomorrow night on my podcast, but I have to work tomorrow, so I can't do that now.
What time is your podcast tomorrow?
It's 9 p.m. Central.
What is the website or address they can watch it?
It is. It's on YouTube, Late Night Legends. It streams on Twitch, also streams on Facebook.
Are you doing Rumble yet?
Rumble? What?
You should do Rumble.
What's Rumble?
Rumble is the Republican YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. Allegedly. Allegedly.
Yeah, no, we don't.
All right. Well, so wait a minute now. Here's why I do.
Not because they're Republicans.
Because I know it's a whole new platform of people that are already into a lot of things that are so up here that we get 200 views per show.
Oh, wow.
5 shows a week over at Rumble. Hey, by the way, check the Rumble account. They owe us 2 cents.
Get out of here.
Way to Christ.
We don't make that kind of money, I don't think.
2 cents. Cleared 2 cents. I'm like, son of a... Rumble's the way to be. Like nobody's using the platform, so it's just like, you know what? I don't go on Rumble and go, hey, it's me, King Mike from Rumble. I don't. I just put the shows on. Like they're on right now.
Well, I gotta tell our producer. I gotta bring it up.
You're live on Rumble right now. You're on Rumble right now.
Hey.
Kara.
So
I'll
tell our producer.
All right.
And
Sin,
hey,
what would you like
Rumble.
to say to wrap it up? Sin, you're up first.
To wrap
Have
it
a
up.
question. Oh yeah, wrapping it up. One last question. Go ahead.
Oh, good.
Statement,
Okay.
statement, question, what you're
So,
doing,
yeah.
anything you want to talk about. It's your time.
No, I want to ask her a question.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
you brought up Resurrection Mary. Did you know there's a Resurrection Mary like in every state? So
Probably. Yeah. No, because there's a billion resurrection cemeteries, right? So
Yeah.
there are.
ours, is it the same in every state? So ours is
There
a
is.
teenager
We have a
girl
resurrection
coming
around. Yep.
from a dance hall and needed a ride and then disappeared at the gates. And allegedly at the gates, there's handprints, which I've never seen. I looked at the gates.
nice.
You're thinking dance
so-
hall like the 10 cents dance hall, like the Tina Turner private, private dancer. That type of dance hall?
No, nice,
No.
like,
Oh, a ballroom. A ballroom.
Yeah.
The kind of place I would take Buddy. You should have just said that,
It's
Carol. What's
long
the matter?
closed.
What's
It is
going on?
long torn down, but it was there for a long time.
Nice. All right, Buddy, what do you got?
What do I got? Next week we do not have a guest yet because it's Mother's Day, and I it's just nobody wants to do on Mother's
What,
Day.
that's a little
Tuesday?
tough,
You mean
yeah.
Tuesday? Or Sunday? Or next Sunday?
Next Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to
So
talk
tune
about
in-
that anyways when we're done
Tune
with the
in.
show.
We'll have somebody by that point. I promise you. We have guests lined up into June, so it's not a big deal. Tune in live on Tuesday night though for It's a Legit Metaphysical World, as Auntie Dale walks us further into a metaphysical world. She's doing back-to-back live readings. So last week we usually do live reading, interview, live reading, interview. We're doing back-to-back live readings with Sarah Goo. I don't know. It's pronounced like that.
Gooch. Isn't it Gooch?
It might be Gooch. I don't know. It's C at the end. Yeah. And she was on for an interview a few weeks back, and she was absolutely phenomenal. So I'm absolutely excited about Tuesday night, and I want to see what
Absolutely.
There's
Absolutely.
going to be
Absolutely.
2 live tarot card readings, and they should be fabulous, Michael. So tune in live at 8:05.
Kara, what else would you like to mention, promote, or say before we?
Yeah, so check out our podcast. Monday nights we publish on Thursday, Spotify, Apple, all the major platforms.
Why don't you go live, Kara?
We do go live on Monday.
Okay, so we can.
Yeah,
see
so Monday we go live and then we publish on Thursdays.
But wait, so you don't let people hear it till Thursdays?
It's live on Mondays.
Live on Monday, Mike.
So they can watch
Publish
it.
on Thursday.
Yep.
And then if you're just a podcast person, just listening, not watching live, then you'll hear it on Thursday.
Okay,
Because our producer has a life.
So it gets published to so it gets published to additional
Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all the major platforms.
Thank you. No, I know. I do that for us. I just want to hear you say it.
Yeah.
Kind of explain it a bit more. But thank you. Continue.
So it's about Thursday, like 1:00 ish when he gets it all together.
Okay.
I don't do any of that, so he could take as long as he needs.
You're the talent, Kara. Of course you don't.
I am just the talent.
You don't. You just walk.
I am the talent coordinator, though, so I do find our interviews and everything. So we are kind of like topic based and interviews. So we have multiple hosts every week. Somebody either like has a topic they present and we talk about that, or because I don't really want to research a topic and that's not my thing. I do enough of that in real life. I get guests and we have guests on and we get to talk to people.
Well, the best way to avoid from asking every question that's been asked of them on everything else they've ever done when you've been dealing with guests is to just start a conversation and see where it ends up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you can avoid the whole, because if I read your bio, like if I let even Buddy with the intro taken away from that, you guys try to rig the intro on me. I was already when this show started, I was already negative like 2. I knew they were both in cahoots, and I knew Fade you'd go with them because why not? So I knew I was down on this. I knew I was. She tried to help him. She said yes, Buddy. I've never heard anybody in your intro feel so happy that you got a part right.
Yeah,
if they actually acknowledge you, yes. I was like, you give him a gold sticker, you know what I mean? Like,
I get pages of questions ready for guests, and then I never use any of them. But I'm always ready because I'm so afraid and anxious that we're gonna have dead space. So no, I always.
I write on pads with magic markers. This is true. Just jokes or ideas that I'm thinking of while we're talking. That's the best way that I can keep a conversation going. I just write jokes and notes. I like little things, especially Buddy. He's like, I adore him. he'll say things sometimes that are so cute. Ah, like a Hallmark card wrapped in a Garfield type blanket. Oh man, I hate Mondays. I'm gonna wrap this up really quick for us, Kara. Thank you so much for being on. I'm having a hard time with the last name. I'll be honest, because I know so many Phillips.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
like-
one L, no
Yeah.
S.
It's only like Phillips. Like that's you would just say their last name. People must say Philip to you all the time, right?
It's there's always extra letters. There's
Phil Carup. Anyone ever said Phil Carup?
No.
I'm the first one. That's what I would do to that name. I do to everybody's name. Phil Carup. Hey, it's Philly Carup.
I'd answer to it.
Yeah. What do you do? All right, buddy. I'm gonna wrap this one for you because no more beers. So for Kara Phillip, for Sin Trader Hill, for Buddy Money. There it is. Me, Michael W. King, Mike Ellis was legit. Paranormal brought to you by legit podcast.com. We have Legit Metaphysical World on Tuesday, the news on Wednesday, the clips on Thursday, and then I don't know.